Hello everyone, Seedlink here, back with Pickems. This time it is for the Blast Austin Major. I've been waiting for this for quite a while. I'm glad it happened now because last time I complained a little bit because the update happened I think 3 days before it officially happened. There's also been some controversy, which I'm going to be talking about a little bit about, regarding visas and some people not making it. And particularly, Legacy got in because Bestia couldn't get visas. And Hallzerk, there's still some questions regarding Hallzerk. We're not certain if he's going to be there or not. But even without Hallzerk, I think Complexity is still a pretty solid team, especially if Junior is the replacement, which is a pretty good last-second replacement. So, without further ado, let's start with the 3-0s here. Pretty much everyone I've seen, for the most part, has kind of agreed on these 3-0s, with the exception of the Hallzerk controversy, and that's Heroic and Complexity. Complexity, if they don't have Hallzerk, could very well go 3-1 or 3-2, but at the same time, if they fail round 1 against OG, I think most likely they're probably just not going to qualify because of a last-minute replacement that just doesn't mesh with the team well. If that happens, we could see Complexity not make it at all, in which case it's kind of good to have them as a 3-0, because the number one way people's pick'ems get messed up is their 3-0s qualifying not 3-0, and then two people they had qualifying not 3-0 go 3-0, and then they miss both 0-3s. If that's the case, the absolute best thing you can hope for is 4 correct. So one way or another, I'm not going to swap Complexity off because I think there's a chance they might not qualify if they lose Hallzerk, but they could still qualify, and they might even still go 3-0. And not only that, they could face Heroic in the 2-0 match. And when it comes to Heroic, at this stage, they're just dominant. They had to reshuffle their whole roster. Many people didn't think they were going to be able to stay at the top level, and they really did. Particularly their game against FaZe at Dallas impressed me a lot, particularly on Ancient, when they really exploited FaZe's weaknesses pretty heavily. So I think Heroic, especially because Heroic has the easiest round 1 against Chinxy Warriors, it's basically the only matchup that's near a guarantee, where most of the others are a coin flip or close to a coin flip, because a lot of these teams here are pretty close in terms of how skilled they are between each other. I definitely think there's some teams that are a little bit higher than others, which I'll get into in a moment. But without further ado, let's go down to the 0-3s. I need to stop saying that. To start off, Chinxy Warriors. I think pretty much everyone has them going 0-3. I do think that they could win not just the 0-2 match, but even the 0-1 match, but they're the only team that's consistently going down 0-1. All the other teams, including Fluxio, Linvision, Legacy, and Haiwu, which are the only other teams I think could go 0-3, even there, they could potentially win the round 1. I don't think it's likely, but all of them could theoretically win round 1. Chinxy Warriors against Heroic, it's just not happening. That would be the biggest upset of the tournament. You wouldn't even have to watch anything else. In order to see a bigger upset, you would need to see I don't know, FlyQuest beat Vitality or something. It would just be absurd if we saw a bigger upset than that. At least, certainly for this first stage. The second pick, for me, pretty much everyone, for the most part, has picked Fluxo. But for me, I'm kind of 50-50 between Fluxo and Linvision. A lot of people are looking at Art as kind of the curse guy for Furia, the guy who screwed up everyone's pick'ems with Linvision and Legacy, and a lot of people think he keeps that curse with him. Is not great on the team, or he's just not that good in general, and I sadly have to agree to some extent, because Art is a player that when he first came into the scene, he was like the Brazilian Stewie 2K. He was doing so many crazy things. He knifed Nico at a ramp on Vertigo through a smoke, and Nico just laughed it off. That's not something you see at a top level. Not only was he a good player, he was entertaining as hell, and he had one of the biggest drop-offs we've ever seen in Counter-Strike, and it was so sad to see. And I do genuinely still think that Art can bring something to the table. Fluxio, I think, still has a chance to win a match, and because pretty much most people I've seen have put, at least I have put Chinxy Warriors going 0-3, have also put Fluxio going 0-3, because I'm 50-50 on it, I'm going to go against the grain. I'm going to put Linvision going up against or going 0-3. They've jumped up super high in terms of their rankings, but I've looked at their matches, and pretty much all the games they've won have been against Taiwu and like some like tier 4 teams that no one's ever heard of from Asia. Like even like in this first stage, they're outclassed. Like I think they could maybe beat Qingxi Warriors. I think they probably will beat Qingxi Warriors, but I think they're going to lose to Legacy. I think overall they still don't have a great matchup against Taiwu, and I think they're probably going to lose to Fluxio as well. But Fluxio I can very much understand. I'm not going to change it personally back, but most people have put Fluxio. I'm not going to, simply because I want to go against the grain, and I'm 50-50 on it. So if I'm going 50-50, I want to do something that other people aren't doing. Now, we have the 3-1s and 3-2s. Doesn't matter the order you put them in, but the top 3 are the teams I kind of expect to go 3-1. The 3-2s are on the bottom here. There's 3 teams I'm pretty confident with in this group because of their recent results and not so recent results, but also just because I think they have higher skill overall. From most to least confident in terms of my 3-1s, it is following: Wildcard, Bait, and BetBoom. Wildcard is a team that so many people doubted last major, and they did go 0-3 in the second stage, but they managed to get in 3-2, and that was against Passion, which was another team that surprised a lot of people. But even after the major, like, they were doing decent against even tier 1 teams, and against other teams like tier 2 or tier 3, they were dominating them. Like, they obliterated Big, which was, I want to say, very satisfying to see, because I remember seeing Pimps, like Pickems, he put Wildcard going 0-3. Multiple people put Wildcard going 0-3, but no one put... I never ever saw people put Wildcard and Big 0-3, but everyone was putting them 0-3. Everyone was putting either Wildcard or Big 0-3, but never both. And I'm like one of the only people that got both Pickems correct because of it. And even after the major, when I think it was Pimp, he had to rank like the top 24 teams of the like bounty tournament, he ranked the female team, Imperial Female, like at the bottom. And I think he put Wildcard at like 23rd or 22nd, and then he put Big at like 17th. And I was like, you're telling me Big is that much better than Wildcard, buddy? I can say you can say Big's better than Wildcard, but don't tell me they're that much better, especially when they faced each other and they beat each other like so bad. Like Wildcard beat Big that tournament so bad, and it was so satisfying. And guess what? Wildcard's here. Big's not even in this major. How's that, Pimp? My point ultimately being that even when people's expectations were at their highest, Wildcard was still doing good. Like, people were underestimating them heavily. And I think people still do. When I look at pretty much everyone here, except for Heroic and even Complexity with Hallzerk, I mean, I think Wildcard could potentially go 3-0 if we do in fact see Hallzerk go away. Like, if Hallzerk can't make it because of his visa, which has not been confirmed yet, but there's still a chance, I think that Wildcard could potentially go 3-0, given the matchups I've seen. Bait is a team, on the other hand, that's also had some really good recent results. They're consistent in terms of their results, but not so consistent in terms of how they get those results. I think that they make a lot of wacky mistakes in games that teams at this level, they do, but not as much as they should. So Bait's a team that could go is one of those teams I think could go 3-1 or potentially even 1-3, but I think 3-1's a lot more likely than 1-3. And when you look at a lot of the other teams, they just have better results and better recent performances than these other teams. BetBoom is another team that some people have actually put 3-0 because of the Complexity controversy, and I gotta be honest, I'm not putting these guys 3-0 even if I was to put Complexity not going 3-0, because Boomich and Exile, like, this is kind of like the modern equivalent, or the newer equivalent of like the Cloud9 that was at the last few majors, and every time I put them going far in my Pickems, or even going anywhere in my Pickems, I always got them wrong. So this team, BetBoom, I mean, they did get rid of Nafany, but still, you got Exile, you got Boomage. Anytime I try to root for these guys, they always lose. So I'm definitely not putting them 3-0, because I'm going to put them 3-0, they're going to qualify normally. I would rather just have them qualifying here and then just not make it, so that will screw one of my Pickems and not two of them. But I do still think that when you look at that team, they have a lot of strength. Not quite as much as some of these other teams. I do think personally that Wildcard beat them, but I think it's going to be close. They could probably beat Bait, but again, it's going to come down to who comes in with the most momentum, I think. And then with the teams that are left, these last three, I wouldn't really complain about too many unless you're going to put like Fluxio or Lin Vision going in one of these three. And even then, I wouldn't. There's a couple of other teams that are more question marks, but again, I think a lot of these teams, with the exception of Fluxio, are pretty close to each other. So you got Legacy, Taiwu. Legacy, I mean, shouldn't even be here because Bestia should be here, but they ran into visa issues, and I think even if they could somehow get those fixed, the update's already been released. I was about to say Blizzard. I don't think Valve is going to really allow that at this point, even if they could kind of fix their issues, because I just don't think Valve is going to go that far to like change the whole update for that one team. Even though it kind of is what they should do if they can fix that issue. OG is up there. They've got Nikodas, which is very skilled. Nejima, they've had some good results, but a lot of no-name people, and they've not had the best results against some of these other teams. Imperial is a team that, like, if it was Stage 2 or Stage 3, you put them 0-3, and I have seen people put them 0-3. But I think in this group, I think you can make an argument for them even going in, even if it is 3-2, because a lot of the brackets I've shown do have them scraping by at 3-2. There's a lot of teams that can scrape by as the last member going 3-2. FlyQuest, many people are putting FlyQuest in. People are saying it's crazy not to put FlyQuest in. Personally, you're getting rid of Dexter and you're getting rid of Alistair. I just don't have that much faith in FlyQuest because of it. Like, I do think that they have a strong chance of making it in, especially from the brackets I've seen, but I'm just not going to go for them, personally. Even though it's hard when I bet against them, because I had them going 0-3 last time, and they went 2-0. 2-0 to then 2-3 after. Taiwu, I think they can beat the other Asian teams and might scrape a win against some of these other guys, but again, it's a coin flip, and I don't ultimately think the coin flip's in their favor. So, to start off, I'm going to put NRG. This is a team that could lose, but it's probably the number one team I want to root on, because this is kind of the classic Liquid team. They got rid of Automatic, but they still have Nitro and OZ, and they've picked up a couple of other guys from North America that are still doing pretty good. They don't have that high of a skill ceiling, but I think that they get like 1v3s and 1v4s more than they choke, personally. It's not by much. They can still choke, very much so, but I think overall they have more individual skill than they have individual choking ability, compared to some of these other teams. So they're a team that number one team, or one of the number one teams I want to be rooting on, and I think NRG needs like 1 or 2 coin flips to go their way for the most part. Where, I mean, yeah, I don't see them really losing to Taiwu. If they could, and if they do, they're most likely not going to make it. They're going to have to win like 3 coin flip matches. Well, actually, they could win 2. They could get like an easy matchup here somewhere. So, NRG, it's a difficult pick, but it's a team I want to root on, and I think they are, like, a decently consistent. They're not going to be able to go any further than Stage 1. Like, they're a good contender going 0-3 in Stage 2, but I think here they have just enough skill to get through. Then these last 2 spots, for me, it's between OG, Meziport, Nejima, Imperial, FlyQuest. I don't have enough confidence in Taiwu because from most of my predictions I've done, they're obviously going 0-1, and because I just have more faith in NRG, and for the most part, it means they're going either 0-2 and they have to win 3 games, or they're going 1-1 and they have to win 2 coin flip matches. Or they might even have to, like, if they win this coin flip, they're going to have to go here and face, like, Wildcard, Bait, or BetBoom, which I think they're going to lose all of those matches kind of comfortably. And then they're going to have to win another coin flip here against, like, a Meziport, a Nejima, or some other team like that. And I don't think Taiwu has it in them to do that. I do think there's a chance they could, but it's a team that's going to be playing from behind, rather than playing from the middle or above. Because, yes, they could win round 1. I mean, you could say that if Hallzerk is there, they have a higher chance to win round 1 than, like, OG does. but I have more faith in OG, especially with Nikodaz. And I'm going to pick two teams here that, from my bracket prediction, there's a lot of scenarios which they face each other in the 2-2, which could be good, could be bad, depending on how good my 3-0s and 0-3s go. And that is OG and Meziport. Meziport, they've got Plopsky, they've got some good name recognition, they're an all-Swedish team, and I think they have just enough skill compared to these other teams. I think, again, it's a coin flip against a lot of other teams like Nejima, like FlyQuest. I think they beat Taiwu, Fluxio, and Legacy kind of comfortably. They easily beat these two teams. Maybe not easily, but quite comfortably. And even FlyQuest, like, I would still put more money on Meziport than FlyQuest, simply because you're getting rid of Dexter and Alistair, which are two of the top, I wouldn't say the top performers, but like two kind of key core parts of the FlyQuest roster. So as much as I kind of want to root for FlyQuest a little bit, well, actually, I don't root for FlyQuest, but I think FlyQuest could get in. And for most of my brackets, FlyQuest has a solid chance of getting in, but for me personally, I have just a little bit more faith in OG and Meziport. I want to root on them a bit more. And I also think that between these two teams, if there's any other team that's kind of close to them, it's probably Nejima. And I don't think Nejima is as good as these two teams. I think these two teams are a bit more consistent than Nejima is. And for that reason, these are going to be my Pickems. This is the first stage that we haven't seen this before. We've only ever seen 24 teams at the major rather than 32. So a lot of people have a lot of differing opinions here. Most people pretty much have this 3-0 confirmed, with the exception of Hallzerk maybe not making it. So some people, I've seen most people do this because of that. I mean, if I was going to put a team going 3-0, it probably would be Wildcard. I think Wildcard is beating BetBoom personally, because like I said, anytime I root for Axile and Boomich, it just never works my way. And I think Wildcard has been a surprise, and I think people still to this day are underestimating them. And Jinxie Warriors, again, I think they could win a match, but you're looking at the only matchup of which they're basically guaranteed to go 0-1, whereas all the others, Taiwu could win, Legacy and Linvision could win, Fluxio could even beat FlyQuest. I'm pretty sure they're facing FlyQuest, right? Pretty sure I got that right. Yeah, they're facing FlyQuest. Like, I genuinely think all these teams could win their round one. It's not likely, but all of them could win, except for Jinxie Warriors. And Linvision, I just have a little bit more confidence in Fluxio because of Art. Yes, he has had a big decline, and maybe he still has that major curse attached to him that Furia kind of got rid of when they got rid of Art and nearly made it to the playoffs. But there's also another factor of, like, because I still want to have faith in Art, I want to root on them. So, like, if Fluxio going up against Linvision, I want to root for my Pickems, and I want to root for Art. So I think there's also a chance that they could face each other, and I want Art to win. I think there's a chance that these teams could face each other, in which case I'm fine either way, because then it doesn't matter if, like, both of my 3-0s are incorrect, and, like, say Wildcard and 8 go 3-0, because I can still get 4 correct. And that's something a lot of people surprisingly don't understand about this. You want to pick teams that have a high chance of facing each other, because facing each other is good. It's not bad. Especially 3-0s. Like, having two teams that face each other, I just don't know how much more I need to emphasize this. It's a good thing, because you only need 5 correct. If you mess up both your 3-0s and both your 0-3s, and the two teams, and two of teams, like, let's say this is what happens, right? Let's say this happens, right? Guess what? If Linvision and Jinxie Warriors, if neither of them go 0-3, I physically can't get the coin. Because at absolute best case scenario, I get BetBoom, Energy, OG, and Meziport correct. That's 4. If I get both these incorrect and both these incorrect, and two of my teams I have qualifying go 3-0, I can't get the coin. So even if you just get one of the 3-0s and one of the 0-3s correct, you only need 3 from that point. So that's really good. So don't think of like, oh, they're going to face each other so you don't want to pick them. Don't think like that. I'm interested to see what you guys think. If you guys have any more information regarding Bestia or Hallzerk, you can post any videos in the description. I looked a lot on YouTube. No one's talking about it. I had to look through Google. and I'm interested to see your guys' pick'ems. I've seen a lot of different types of pick'ems, a lot of which I would disagree with, and some of which, I mean, I don't think I've seen anyone do this, or even, like, one away from me. The closest I've seen was someone, I should know this guy's name, but I forgot. He had the same pick'ems as me, except he swapped OG and Meziport for Taiwu and I believe Legacy. And he had Fluxio going over Lin Vision, like most people I've seen do. And other than that, his pick'ems were the same as me. But without dragging along any further, I hope you all enjoyed. I'm going to be doing the other stages here once they come up, and I'll see you guys in the next pick'em.